Do you know what? It would have been cool if they didn't put it in the trailer.
Yes.
I wouldn't have minded. Because it'd been a nice little surprise. But the fact they put it in the trailer, it makes everyone think there's more to it than what there is.
Your favorite film is awful.
Hello, and welcome to Your Favourite Film is Awful, the weekly show where we take your favourite films and recent releases and defend them against negative reviews. As always, I am Luke MJ Powell, and with me today, the one and only, it's Charlie Lilly. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm good, my man. How about yourself?
I am very well. It's just us today. Original flavour, Your Favourite Film is Awful.
Yeah. Back to the old school days without Sean.
Back to the old school.
Who
needs him.
Who needs him?
Nah, he's
You know,
great. He's a lovely
here,
lad.
nah, joking, no, yeah. He'll be missed.
You
But
know. You just had a holiday. He's got a holiday.
It's true.
It's my turn next. That's
it
what we
actually
need to
is,
take
though,
away
isn't
from
it?
this.
I think yours is coming up soon, isn't it? Holiday, so,
Well,
yeah.
depending on if we ever manage to record these ahead of schedule, unlikely.
Yes, very
Right,
unlikely.
so the title says, is Shang-Chi awful? So, first thing first, Charlie, what is the plot synopsis? Sum up that plot for me. Go ahead.
You'd think, like, by this time, I would remember to just prepare something for the plot synopsis. But, again, I forget. Every fucking week. But, the plot synopsis of Shang-Chi is essentially about a guy name is Sean, I believe. Sean.
Yep.
And
Sean at the beginning.
Sean, he lives in America. Whereabouts in America is he?
I believe it's San Francisco.
San Francisco, isn't it? Where he was forced in exile to to America, to San Francisco as a kid, or escaped, if you will, to get away from his evil father, played by the great Tony Leung, who is essentially like a warlord who's lived forever, and he has sent a group of goons to take this pearl necklace that Sean was given
pendant.
by his late mother,
Mm-hmm.
because the father believes that his mother is still alive and she can be brought back to life. However, Sean knows that this is some evil dark magic, that if he actually tries to bring his mother back, it will open up a portal of demons. I feel like that's pretty much the plot synopsis of Shang-Chi.
I mean, that is the plot synopsis of Shang-Chi from a person who evidently did not prepare to do a plot synopsis of Shang-Chi. It was just like, this happens. And oh, by the way, the mother's dead. And he knows that this is a thing.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
It was
I tried my best. I mean, mostly it's just about a guy who, his dad has these 10 rings that give him, like, immortal power, and his dad tries to recruit him to this, like, gangster organisation, and it
doesn't
goes
go
from
well.
there. Doesn't go well.
Yeah. Doesn't. Yeah. I like it. Basically, to like strip it down to its basics.
Yep.
Reluctant hero and legendary baddie fight. So we're going to go into our first review. It is an extract from a longer review, but for some reason, some critical reviews, if they're on like big newspapers, are like, "Hey, pay us." Come on, guys! Like, there's advertising.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's just
It's annoying.
and so like I can go on a couple of websites like 3 times, and then it's like, cool, money now, and I'm like, ugh. So you just get an extract. This is from Maya Phillips. The film uses the superficial markers of Asian culture and filmmaking without presenting anything unique in its Marvel take on that tradition. And that's all I got for free. So that's all you get.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. I'm honest with you. I don't think it does anything new with those tropes, if you will. I think it does play sort of by the book in that sense. Doesn't really do anything new with that. I guess the only thing I would say is that this is a big budget Marvel movie that is Asian led.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
It's
guess
one of
that
those
kind
that
of makes it different.
Yeah, it's one of those that, even though you can't disagree, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a negative to do those tropes, but with a bigger budget so they can breathe life into it. It's less about like showing something unique and more showing that same thing, but with a bigger budget, bigger visionary CGI ability.
Yeah.
So you're right, Maya, but you're also wrong. Okay, that was like the serious little preview. Let's dial it back a bit. Let's go into Jace Roko's 1-star review. They started off with what I liked and dislike. I liked decent, watchable fight scenes, and I think we agree.
Yep, they were fun. Particularly the bus scene, I thought was really good.
I really liked the bus scene, and I really liked the on the side of the skyscraper esque construction,
that was fun, when they were-
scaffolding thing.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. I think what I liked about the sort of the bus sequence was that it made a really good use of the sort of side character that doesn't have any powers kind of thing. I think usually in a lot of these movies they struggle with like what to do with that character, but I think Awkwafina was was really great in that scene. I liked that she was trying to like steer the bus whilst he was fighting the people. I thought that was a really nice teamwork. I thought there was some really good tension. I think it was probably one of my favourite scenes of the movie, because I actually felt really really tense with that whole scene.
Yes,
and also it's the first time you see him
kick
some ass, so you're like, well, okay, this is cool. I wasn't expecting this.
Like a thought that's just occurred to me now is that it's almost a mix between Nobody and Speed.
Yeah.
Where the side character drives the bus, but nobody kicks some ass.
Yeah. No, it's true, actually. It was like that.
Okay, but now into what Jace disliked. I disliked the plot and how it was told and edited. That's the first point. The first point is just I didn't like the film.
Yeah. I don't think... I know what he means by the way it's told. I do think that it cuts back to flashbacks too much.
Yes.
In terms of the way it's structured, I think it's a bit messy. It kind of feels a bit too long. Even though it's not that long. I mean, it is kind of long, actually. It's like
it
2
is quite
hours.
long.
Yeah, it's quite long for a Marvel movie. But it's
just for a movie.
yeah, that is also true. It doesn't... I think that's what I'm intrigued by with Venom, the new Venom, because it's 90 minutes.
Oh.
The new Venom movie.
I imagine that's just going to be crazy, though.
It's been a long time since we've had a 90-minute film. Do a superhero one. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, I do think the structuring was really weird. I feel like it kind of kept. I was like, oh, here we go. It kind of ruined the momentum of the fight scenes and stuff that were pushing the plot forward.
Yeah.
To keep going back. Go on.
I especially felt that in the cage fight, before Jailing delivers the final kick, she has the flashback of, oh, we'll be back in a couple days. And then that flashback ends, she kicks him. And then in the immediate scene next, she's like, do you know what he said to me when he left? He said that he'll be back to save me in 3 days. And he didn't. He took 6 years. And it's like, you just told me this information.
Yeah,
why are you telling me it again?
That happens a lot in this film. A lot of characters, like, you get shown it, and then the characters like spell it out to you again. And you're like,
yeah,
you just showed me that. Like, why is that character telling the other character that now? Like, either one or the other. You know, it was kind of weird.
They just gave different scripts to the teams. They were like, oh yeah, camera team A, here's these scenes, camera team B, these scenes, but they didn't check those scripts to see where they overlapped.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do. I think the only thing I would say, I do like that it goes a bit weirder than some of the Marvel stuff has before. Maybe not the Guardian stuff, but like it goes more like fantastical. You know, in terms of, you know,
yeah, it's got mythical beasts like
creatures and
Morris, the faceless furball with wings.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I just feel like we could have even done more of that almost. I like that it kind of builds up to that, reveals it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's happened quite a few times recently, but this is definitely another one of those it's two films in one situations where it gets to the halfway point and it's like, oh, this isn't a film about a reluctant hero who must defeat his dad. It's a hero has to stop his dad from unleashing a mega soul sucker.
yeah, it does kind of. Oh, do you know what? I'm trying not to be too negative on this because there's parts of it I think are really fun. I think it's really difficult to not include my Marvel fatigue in this and talk about that, and in the sense that I need something really different. And
Yeah. We'll talk more about the fatigue in a bit because that's going to come up
Okay,
again.
that's going to come up. We're going to talk. Well, I'll save that thought then. But
Yeah. So put that in your pocket.
yeah, I'll put it away.
Okay, so this next point is Shang-Chi undeservedly obtaining the 10 rings. I guess.
Yeah.
Like, he does get them because his dad now thinks he's worthy, I guess?
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that scene didn't go on longer. I feel like it didn't need to have the dragon stuff. I feel like it was cool, but like it kind of took away from what the film was about. It was like, okay, here's this fight between this father and the son that we've been waiting for the whole movie, them to confront each other. And then they do, but it doesn't go on for very long. And then he kind of changes his mind, the dad. And then you're like, okay, now they're going to team up and fight this monster thing.
But no.
And then he gets killed straight away. And I'm kind of like...
Yeah.
And then we watch like a kind of 20-minute sequence of like these two animated creatures fighting each other. And it's kind of like... I wasn't expecting the movie to go this way. It felt like it kind of moved away from its protagonists and main
But
characters.
hey, subverting expectation, that's filmmaking 101. That's beautiful. That's a point, good defense.
Sure. I do think the action scenes are cool, though. I do think that. I did think that.
The next point is CGI battle at the end. Oh, it's almost as if you just mentioned that CGI battle at the end.
I'm not against that though. I'm not against like there being a big dragon CGI fight. I just think that.
Yeah, we all love kaiju fights.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like it could have been. I don't know. Just had more
weight, more connection to the characters.
Yes, more of a connection to what I was watching instead of like the story that you were watching the whole time has been resolved. Now we're just gonna watch some two big monsters smash each other for a bit. We have to stop them for a bit. And stop. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like keeping the tension through the story with that. I mean, it's still there. I mean, maybe it's a nitpick, but yeah, I think I was more focused on Tony Long and Sean Simu fighting each other, and that being the resolution of them having a kind of Darth Vader Luke moment. Yeah,
no, that's very fair.
Because it's the character stuff I'm more interested in when it comes to this stuff. It's the character moments, it's the human moments, it's the emotional moments packed with the action. That makes it good.
It's interesting that you just said that because the next point is no emotional connection between the characters.
I don't think that's true. I think that I really like Sean and Katie's relationship in this movie. I think it was really like honest, truthful, and very I really bought them as friends. And obviously there's kind of like a bit of a tension there, I feel. Did you get that as well? I feel like there's kind of a bit of a sexual tension there. Particularly when,
I was almost going to be like... Well, no, I was about to say I liked the fact that they pushed this, no, we're just friends sort of thing at the beginning. Just to be like, hey, whatever you make.
Although she did stare at him for quite a long time when he had his top off. So there's...
This is true.
But no, I really bought their friendship. I thought that was really good, and I really bought when she was like mad at him for like not telling her that, you know, essentially his whole life that he's ran away and stuff.
10 years of just lying to her.
Yeah, and and I like that she come on the journey, and she always felt very useful. Even though she doesn't have powers or anything, I like that they gave her at least like the archery stuff at the end.
Yeah.
And
And driving.
part of the battle. I mean, she even saves the day, really, and the driving stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that was also cool because obviously they set it up at the start where they're doing the is it like chaperoning,
Joyriding.
chaperoning the cars for people, right?
Valet.
Valet, that's it. Valet. Yeah. So being the valets, and then she obviously takes the Ferrari, I think it is. Anyway, a lovely car, and just like drives, joyrides everywhere. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And you kind of set up that she's kind of good at driving. To have that bus scene after, and then see later on.
Yeah, in the woods.
Yeah, in the woods and that, which I thought was cool. I think it was a really good use of bringing that all back. And also, I thought it actually felt really earned and a great payoff that Ben Kingsley comes back. I thought that stuff was really cool. I was like, oh, that's nice. And even though he comes in as like the comic relief, I was all for that because I thought that was a nice payoff after all those years that he'd just been trapped. And he'd been a jester, essentially, a court jester for what was it? I can't remember the villain's name, but
for
Tony Long. I just go to Tony Long.
Yeah. Tony Long. Okay, the next point is poor choice of music. Did you like the music, Charlie?
I actually thought. Oh, okay. I like the score, but I think they mean like the sort of.
Probably like the licensed song inclusions.
The like trappy sort of hip hop sort of music that was playing through some of the scenes. Yeah,
I felt it reflected quite nicely. Like it was American Asian culture and then full Asian culture. I thought it was a nice. It was correct to put it there, sort of thing. I can understand, like, in some of the reviews, some of those choices, like, I think there's, like, a big hip-hop track that's playing during the bus fight.
Yes,
so it kind of contradicts rather than lifts the scene itself. But then, of course, you're not paying attention to the music. You're paying attention to the sweet punches and kicks, because that's sick. It was so cool.
I know what you mean, but I do think sometimes that, like, the music can be put there and it's like, oh, we just put it here because it sounds cool, and then it kind of you can see through that, and then it kind of makes it not cool sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Like you see some actions and you're like, oh, I've kind of seen this done to death. Like I watched a scene the other day from like a Jason Statham movie. I think it was like Wild Card or something like that, and I'd never seen it before. I was just studying like fight scenes in films and just picking up stuff, and I think Chad Stahelski like did some choreographing on that. I might be wrong. I know he did for Safe, which was another one that I watched, but the fight wasn't particularly badly shot or like choreographed. It was quite well done, but it was a film that like got written off, and it was interesting because I haven't seen the rest of the movie. I've just seen that one fight scene, but they play like a kind of rock song over the top, and it kind of like felt a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A popular. It just feels like sometimes they just chuck these like popular rock songs in.
Yeah.
That people know to like, because like the song's doing all the work. Because the song's great. The song's doing all the work as opposed to both these things put together. Like the best, like an example I can think of is like the 5, 6, 7, 8 playing in Kill Bill. There was like that whole set piece when Beatrice Kiddo is like walking around the I forgot what it's called, like a bar, I guess it is, like a Japanese bar, I think it is, and that music's playing, and it's built up with the tension of her tracking down the people that killed, tried to kill her, and whilst that's all happening, like that music's playing, it fits, and it's not something that you particularly would put together in that scene.
Yeah,
but it works perfectly. It's like one of those perfect moments in films when like the music just gels and the visuals are matching the music. And I think sometimes filmmakers can get quite lazy and just sort of chuck, like, oh, here's a cool song that's kind of upbeat, this will work, as opposed to like actually crafting the scene around that song. Or and I think sometimes it can be kind of used to just up the ante. Whereas I feel like I felt that a few times in this movie, but I actually thought the score was really good. and I think
Yeah.
a couple of the songs worked. The other track, it did feel like at times it was like, it was, I don't know, it felt like at times that it was like, I think the only time we've really heard sort of hip hop's music in a Marvel movie was like Black Panther, so a lot of it was making me think of Black Panther. And I was like, oh, okay, it kind of feels weird because that was kind of Black Panther's thing, it felt like to me, as opposed to like Guardians,
Yes.
kind of its 80s music. And but then I do understand the Americanation thing. I thought that was, I did like some of the songs, I thought they worked, but yeah, no, do you see what I'm saying? I feel like I do understand that as a criticism from that review, but there wasn't anything that particularly stood out other than like, I think like one song I remember thinking, we've just chucked that in just to show the scenery, establish the shots, and do you know what I mean, sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm a lot more forgiving of that sort of thing since David Ayer's Suicide Squad, because
Really?
that was just several short music videos. And it was
As
she
prime
has a
example.
baseball bat. What song shall we play? Swing batter batter swing.
That's what I mean. That's a prime example of like when it's just like too much.
like that.
I like the Eminem stuff as well.
Oh dear. And the final one is Brie Larson being present in the after credit scene, which is, lovely.
People
People really don't like her, and I haven't done the research to find out why.
Yeah, I don't really know why too much either. I don't really keep up with that sort of thing. I think she's great in a lot of movies. I like her in a lot of films. I think people weren't really happy with her as Captain Marvel, but I don't think that's necessarily her fault.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I mean, I feel like, I think she's been great in like things like Short Term 12, and I mean, she's been in so many great movies. She's in Scott Pilgrim and stuff.
Yeah, I can only assume that it's not her acting, because I don't think I've watched anything with her in it and gone, she was terrible in that role. I think she's always brought a great performance. It
And
must
particularly
be something...
Room. Sorry to drop it, but like Room, like, I thought she was fantastic in Room. That was like, she was like, she's really good. So it's interesting that people have backtracked on that. But sorry to cut you up. Carry on.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I kind of finished the point anyway. I will say, though, it makes sense that she's there because, of course, they're looping it back into the MCU because there's not a lot of MCU-ness within the MCU apart from the formula to make the movie. And I'm not going to lie, one of the most interesting things for me personally happened in that end credit scene, and that's the fact that Bruce Banner was Bruce Banner and not Hulk. Why wasn't he still Hulky? Professor Hulk.
Seems like they're
What's
giving
going
up
on?
that idea. Seems like we're going to go back to the Hulk in the next one. I think there was rumours that he was on set of one of the shows, the upcoming shows.
Would that be Miss Marvel?
I think it was Moon
She-Hulk.
Knight. I think it was Moon Knight.
Oh, Moon Knight.
Apparently. I might be wrong. There was a rumour that he was spotted on set, but...
Ooh,
I don't know how
very
true that is.
interesting. I like the sounds. But yeah, it makes sense why she was there. You got some weird rings that are strange in origin and are letting out a mysterious sound.
Although, sorry to go back to that, actually, that would make sense now I think about it if Bruce Banner was in the Moon Knight show, because doesn't Moon Knight have like bipolar or something? Isn't he's got some mental health issues?
Yeah, I believe so. He's got
And
some
I guess
sort of mental
Banner could help with him in terms of controlling his, I don't know, maybe his mental health issues, because Banner has obviously anger issues. I don't know, that could be...
Yeah, it was already established
how they team
in
up.
Iron Man 3? I think it was Iron Man 3 where it turns out the entire thing has been Tony Stark like getting counselling from Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Okay, next review. This was originally longer, but I'm going to shorten it but I'm going to shorten it on the fly.
Yeah.
This is from Armand White. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is sly, globalist trash. Marvel Disney shamelessly attempt to repeat the same segregation bonanza it pulled off with the silly ethnic hoax Black Panther. Problem is, Black Panther's relatively novel concept imagined the faux African kingdom, Wakanda, whereas Shang-Chi pilfers from already familiar and much more original and artistic Chinese martial arts genre movies, reducing them to the level of Marvel junk. Going straight for the throat in that opening of that critical review.
I mean, it's kind of similar to that first review, isn't it? Saying that it's just taking the tropes and not necessarily doing anything new with it, sticking that kind of Marvel sheen over it. Yeah, I must admit, I was quite looking forward to this before it came out, because I was thinking, okay, here's Marvel's opportunity here to put martial art flicks back on the map, to put kung fu movies back on the map, and hopefully it has still done that, because a lot of people like this movie, but I feel like it was more focused on those Marvelisms. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Those than it was on the kung fu side of things. It was more looking for the iconography, I felt like, than that stuff, than trying to do anything too new with it.
I also feel so. I'm a bit ignorant to the character. Shang-Chi, from my limited knowledge, he is the Marvel martial arts master. Like, people run away from him not because he has superpowers, but he can just lay out anybody.
Yeah.
I believe in the comic books, Spider-Man loses his Spidey sense, so he gets trained by Shang-Chi to come up with a new fighting style.
That's cool.
So he can still just kick ass.
That's cool.
But part of me feels like they took the universe's best martial artist and were like, hey, we need to give him something we can market and sell to the kids. Have 10 bracelets.
Yeah. I actually thought the bracelets were... the rings were better than I thought they was going to be. When I first saw, I think the second trailer, I think it was, and there was a lot of, like, the CGI Doctor Strange looking stuff. I was kind of like, oh, that's a shame, because I'd like to be a bit more, like, hand to hand, a little bit more grounded in that sense.
Yeah.
But I did kind of enjoy some of the use of them. They look cooler than I thought they was going to be. I thought it was going to look silly.
Yeah, they got like the weird force fieldy energy going on. It's pretty cool.
But I just thought it was a shame. I feel like we could have really like delved into the martial arts stuff, and I feel like it could have been like a really fun, like the way that the Matrix brought back kung fu movies to the Western audiences. I feel like this was the perfect opportunity to do that, and then make it like full Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think it had elements of that.
Yes.
Or like Iron Monkey. I feel like it could have been elements of that, but I feel like you could have gone in more. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hire Yun Wen Ping, or do you know what I mean? Like, hire just like to coordinate the fight, so just go in on it. But, like, you know, I mean, that necessarily wasn't the story they wanted to tell, maybe. But yeah, I was a little bit gutted with that, especially with people like Michelle Yeoh, who is an absolute legend. Martial art legend. If you want to check out some of Michelle Yeoh's best stuff, check out Super Cop, which is Police Story 3 with Jackie Chan, where she gets a motorbike, she rides it onto a moving train.
Oh, that's
and
where that's in.
Yes,
that's in.
And she misses it.
Yeah,
it's you know, in is it Hot Fuzz where they go Super Cop, the cop that can't be stopped. That's the film.
Okay.
Yeah, check that out. That's one of my favorite. Michelle Yeoh in that is just the stunts that her and Jackie do in that movie are insane. It's such a great movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was expecting loads of that. I know she's like older now and stuff, but I mean, it was still cool to see her, and especially Tony Leung as well. He's been in a lot of like Wong Kar-wai movies. Some of my favorite films of all time. He's been like Hard Boiled with John Woo, directed by John Woo and starring Chow Yun-fat. And I was excited to see more of. I wanted to see more of that, but instead we got good performances out of them instead. Yeah, I it's tough to say. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was fun. I think maybe I had a different movie in my head that I wanted, and maybe that was kind of why I find some of these things hard to get too excited about. Like other people got really excited about. Like I had a good time enjoying it, but I think I was like, oh, I really wanted to see more. Like, and I thought what we did get was good. That's why I was kind of like, oh, that's good. We could do more of that. That was fun. But yeah, I mean, I can't even remember what the review now was.
It kind of went back into what you were saying about Black Panther.
Oh, right,
Sorry?
yeah.
Yeah, the review itself, it was like that comparison where Black Panther, of course, was this African-inspired, and so they put the African music and black music into that film to give it that, but it was much more... it was more complete, I guess, and it had a better representation, whilst this attempts to do that, but less successfully because it pushes more for a Marvel sheen than a Asian representation sheen.
I think it's because Black Panther also has like a stronger message as well, and like a bigger conflict with Michael B. Jordan's character. What's the name of the character now? My God, my brain is
Killmonger,
of course. So like that, his whole motive and stuff, like you totally understood. Whereas like, you understand Tony Long's motives, but you kind of also like, he's always been a bit of a dick anyway. He only kind of changed because the mum was so nice. I guess.
I did really like the young family scenes where they're like doing the dance mat stuff and that, like they're being a little family.
That was like, good. I like that. That was nice.
But then like there wasn't enough of that to warrant the character connection, to warrant the sudden change in direction for me. Yeah. Personally. What was I going to say? I was going to say, so this is the second, I think, character origin film since Infinity War. So you've got...
Here we go.
Captain Marvel and then this, I believe, if I'm mistaken. Do you think I'm mistaken?
Wait, say that again?
So after Infinity War,
we
got Captain Marvel, and that was an origin film.
Yeah.
And then since then, there's been nothing up until right now. And part of that is because of the climate and the fact that films weren't being released. But my point is, I don't think Marvel should do origin films.
Yeah, and I think that was actually, funny enough, I do think Black Widow feels like one in a weird way. I think
no. Black Widow feels like a sequel to a film we never got to see.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it's true.
And to kind of link back to that review about Black Panther, I think that having like the side character introduction and then giving them their solo film afterwards, big brain. That is a big brain move. That's just how they should do it now.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because I do think it's important that obviously this character, this Asian American character, the first sort of Marvel superhero leading Asian character, is having its own origin story. But I feel like you can still do that, but make it more different. Just give it to. I just feel like they still feel like another Marvel movie, and I think the problem I've had with it is that this is my issue. I think we're gonna go back to the superhero fatigue, I'm afraid. And that is
the next review.
Oh, shall I wait till the next review? Okay, right. Say the next review. Go say next.
Wait for the next review. And because I cut you off there, I've forgotten whatever point I was going to bring up. So let's do the next review. Let's just go. 1 out of 10. Casual movie nerd. Title: Martin Scorsese was so right.
That's funny.
Martin Scorsese called most of these generic MCU movies theme park movies. And this movie is perfect example of that. There are some great MCU movies, but seems like Marvel isn't even trying to separate themselves from theme park stigma when they make movies like this.
Right, this is my problem. I can finally say it now.
You can
My
finally
problem
say.
is that you have Endgame.
Yes.
You have Avengers Endgame. This big
The
epic
perfect
finale
end.
to the first phase of Marvel. Well, not the first phase of Marvel. Wherever it is of Marvel, right? The phase that we know, the heroes that we know, that we grew up with. Now, if Marvel want to continue, I mean these are doing well, so maybe I'm wrong, but if Marvel want to continue doing these things, I feel like they need to give us something great and different. Whereas from what I've seen this year so far, with the exception of maybe a couple of the shows, it's all been very much the same what we've had before. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the same sort of stuff. There's no real risks being taken. I feel like they all feel the same. They all kind of go through the same beats. I feel like we really need just like, I don't know what it is. Even if I'm really intrigued to see how someone like Sam Raimi is gonna come across with working with Marvel. Because I think the only people that have really shown how different, like the sort of auteurs, if you will, that you can see their distinct style and they feel very different to the other stuff, are like the James Gunn stuff and the Taika Waititi.
Yeah, it's the prolific directors.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like they need to do kind of, I know it sounds weird, but I think DC are starting to try and do this now. And that's like hire just really good inventive directors and then just letting them tell the story they want to tell. Like James Wan doing Aquaman, or because I feel like regardless of what you think of that movie, it's such a James Wan movie. It's so insane, and like the shots, and it's bonkers, and so much happens. And then you have, like, obviously they got Matt Reeves doing the Batman, and then they have James Gunn doing the Suicide Squad, where he said in interviews as well, he got way more free reign than he did in the Marvel stuff, and that totally showed. He really got to. I feel like it was a proper superhero film we haven't had in a while. It was something that like felt fresh again.
Yeah.
And it was like, we haven't had that from Marvel in so long, and I think the more DC, but it's crazy because obviously like Shang-Chi has done so well.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like Shang-Chi's it's a decent movie, right? Just to give my opinion on it, it's a decent movie. It's just another Marvel movie to me, and I think that's where my problems lies. Whereas at least Suicide Squad is like something different, but Shang-Chi has made lots of money, and Suicide Squad didn't make that much money. So it's kind of like,
I mean, with
it's
that,
difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah, with that, it's Suicide Squad was bad, so the general audience was going, if that one was bad, why the fuck would I watch the sequel? Because to the general viewer,
that is true.
It was just
Whereas
the
this is
sequel.
something new, and it's Marvel, and they can count on Marvel.
Exactly. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want to hone down on, because Martin Scorsese compared this to the MCU to theme park rides, which makes a lot of sense. It's got its ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it's just eye candy. I almost feel Marvel is a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
In the way that they're using the same ingredients and maybe like throwing on a sauce or a piece of bacon and calling it a new thing.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That's a funny
Whilst,
comparison.
as you just, with the comparison to DC are just like rooting around in the dumpster just trying to find anything and being
That
like,
works.
hey,
Yeah.
boom, here's a Suicide Squad by David Ayer. Oh man, that wasn't great. Okay, let's see what else is in here.
What food company would you describe them as? So let's say if Marvel is McDonald's, what is DC?
DC is some like experimental. Who's the guy that makes like hot ice cream and all that stuff? Do you remember
Hot ice
that?
cream?
He's like a very famous chef. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his
Guy
name.
Ferrera?
No, it's not Guy Fieri. It's like a big show. I'll put a picture on. If you're watching on YouTube, you get to see who I mean. Everyone else, including Charlie, doesn't get to know who I mean. But yeah, it's like the high-end experimental. Maybe it will work. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But you'll at the end of it, you'll have an experience.
It's like that shop in. Sorry, it's like that shop in. There's that new restaurant place in Leicester Square. I don't know if you've seen it. It's right next to the Odeon, the big Odeon where they have the premieres and stuff. In Leicester Square. I think it's like Goobly or something. I can't remember the name of it. I'll figure it out. But if people know what I'm talking about, right? Because on the sign it says burgers, chicken, spaghetti.
Oh,
And I'm like, I want to go just because like I never have thought burgers, chicken. Yeah, I get that together, right?
That's
Spaghetti,
Spaghetti.
random. Really, I really want to. Right, it's called like I can't remember the name, but I guess that's what DC is.
Yeah, but Marvel, it's fast food. It's hey, if you go to your local KFC, Burger King, McDonald's, insert other fast food restaurant, like if you like that restaurant, you know that you can go for anything on that menu, and you'll have at least a semi-decent time. That's Marvel. And that's what Marvel has made themselves into to the general public, which is why Shang-Chi, I feel, is still doing very well and is like holding the box office weekends and stuff currently, because people are going to see it because they expect to come out of it with at least a good experience. Like, it may not be top tier Infinity War. It might be.
That's true. It's less of a risk for them paying their cinema ticket to go. I
exactly.
Guess, it's
like the worst it'll
guaranteed.
be is Thor 2. I think that's universally said to be the worst one, or Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think
Ant-Man and the Wasp's worse,
but like if that's the worst quality you're getting,
yeah,
that's still worth a cinema price to see if they shot themselves in the foot or not.
No, that's true. Whereas I guess it's like the same sense that A24 is that for like independent movies. You know, you have like the film fans that go, you know, they see A24 and everyone goes crazy and they're gonna go see. Everyone's gonna go see. They're all gonna go see the new A24 film. Whereas like everyone, the general audience, is all gonna go see the new Marvel film because it's like you said, it's guaranteed at least half a good time. Do you know what I mean? It's
exactly.
Like, and also like it's also got that thing now where it's a giant TV series where like everyone on the planet's involved, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or it's like everyone's part of this giant TV series that everyone's watching and everyone wants to feel a part of it. And I imagine like the kids at school now all want to watch the new Marvel film so they can talk about how things all mesh up, as I did when the Avengers came out in 2012.
Yeah. And especially because of that interconnected movie universe, like you kind of have to watch the film anyway, because the sequel to this...
Part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's going to be part of it. It's got like the next Doctor Strange, like in the Spider-Man, what's it called? No Way Home? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah, in No Way Home, in the trailers, we see Wong leave to go through the portal, and like just through that window, it looks like very Asian themed. Like it's got the roof style that is quite prevalent in that culture. So is that something to do with Shang-Chi? Because now we've seen this movie and we know, hey, the 10 rings, so maybe he's going somewhere to like research more. But if you now go into Spider-Man No Way Home without knowing that, you're going to miss out on that detail. And suddenly you're at a disadvantage because you didn't pay the X amount 3 months ago or however long until Spider-Man.
Exactly.
So it's like... And even like in this movie, Abomination, who... By the way, right, can we just mention how that Abomination Wong fight, it's literally just the stuff from the trailer, which is what all of us were mad about in Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Rhino.
Yeah, that was so annoying. I was like, oh, we're going to get Tim Roth. Oh, Tim Roth's going to come back. And no. It was just a little fight. I mean, I did like the CGI was closer to the look of like how he looks in the comics, but it was kind of I just I don't know. I guess they do it because they can, but it was kind of frustrating because obviously, particularly to put it in. Do you know what? It would have been cool if they didn't put it in the trailer.
Yes.
I wouldn't have minded because it'd been a nice little surprise. But the fact they put it in the trailer, it makes everyone think there's more to it than what there is. Do you know what I mean? So.
Well, yeah, because it turned it into a nice little surprise for the people who watched the Incredible Hulk. That was that one, right? So it was for people that had watched the Incredible Hulk and weren't sure if they were going to watch Shang-Chi, and then suddenly there was this shot, and so all of the people that had seen the Incredible Hulk and weren't sure if they were going to see Shang-Chi, now we got bums in seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, right. I'm out of time. There was another one saying Sim Wu gave a wooden performance. You're wrong. He did great. He did great with what he was given. But you know what he was given wasn't 100%. Hey Charles.
Yep.
My good friend, who we have done this together for nearly 2 years, maybe nearly 3 years.
Maybe nearly
time.
3. Yeah.
Time is a broad concept.
Yeah.
Is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings awful?
Awful's a strong word.
Is this McDonald's hamburger awful?
I'm gonna go with
this movie.
I'm gonna say
and many others. Of late, I've wanted us to
mediocre.
have like a 4 scale.
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
5, but like
No, I
a
think we need a
star
3 scale.
like everyone
we need
else.
awesome, awful, and yes, right.
No, I hate middle. I don't want a fence. I hate the fence. You and Sean kept trying to bring in a fence, and I don't want it.
Okay.
I want like an awful, bad, good, awesome 4. So at the minimum, you have to be like, it wasn't great, sort of thing.
I was disappointed, so I lean more towards the awful than awesome.
Fair.
I wouldn't call it awful. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not.
That's
It's like I said. It's a kind of mid-tier Marvel film for me.
Yeah.
And I just hoped it was gonna be more of a.
Fighty.
Maybe it's my own
Punches
problem,
and
yeah.
kicks.
And I think it's kind of the structure of it's a bit messy. I find it's a bit all over the place, and I'm just kind of a bit done with all the Marvel stuff. I need something really new to make me to bring me
guess
back
what?
in. But we're getting Spider-Man, so
We don't. We get Spider-Man, we get Eternals, we get Hawkeye, and then the year's done.
yeah. And we've already had so much this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it's
In fairness, it's because they didn't release anything for basically a year. So then they were like, hey, 2021, you're getting all of the 2020 stuff as well as the stuff we'd already planned for 2021.
yeah.
Smush.
They have a potential for the sequel to be better, really good. So,
Yeah, I think whatever Shang-Chi is in next, that character will be like so much better.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I feel like because it's got to do a lot. It's got to introduce Shang-Chi. It needs to be an origin story and this kaiju stop your dad from ending the world. World-ending stakes again. I thought we'd moved past this.
Yeah.
I really... And it's just too much crammed in, and so nothing gets, like, the depth that we want. We want good. And especially with, like, 95% of Wonder, Loki. I know a lot of people loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, so we've seen some really good stuff. And now we've had Black Widow and this, and it's like... What's going on?
How can
Why
the
are your
movie
TV
stuff be not
shows
as good
better?
as yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, well, no, it makes sense. They've got longer time and like, but they were. It's
but they're being more creative still, though. They're still trying to do more weird things.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big old fucking dragon in this. It's a big old fucking dragon.
Yeah.
That said, like several films ago, big old fucking dragon would have really like blown some brains, and it would be like, holy shit! But like we've seen space. we've seen all the.
That's it. Post Endgame,
everything
we've
else.
seen
It's like,
so much stuff. It's
we've
like,
seen all the shit, so it's like, oh yeah, it's the same shit,
just
but
gone
with
back
a different
again.
coat of paint.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I will say, I watched this film twice. The first time I came out of it, and I literally had the exact same. Well, maybe not exact same, but I thought it was very mid. It was meh. It was so mid. It was so like, I don't know why I didn't enjoy this more. But then the second time, I guess because I knew what I was going into, it was a more enjoyable experience. I was able to look past some of the things that I subconsciously hadn't liked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
So, even though I just berated you and Sean for having like a fence, first time I came out of the cinema, I was on that fence. I was like, why don't I like this film? Now I'm leaning on the other side, and that and it cancels out. Is Shang-Chi awful? You won't find out here. It's not awful. It's just, it could have been better. It's not awesome. It's not awful. Could have been better. For somehow less Marvel formula, more director and Asian representation, but like actual good representation, as opposed to, hey, let's make everything Asian and just because.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was so odd, Charlie. It was so odd.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. It's more just like, this do something different instead of like just fall into the same tropes, and just like, let's actually like try and move on from the other Marvel stuff we've done and like create some new exciting IPs, I guess.
Yeah, but as we just said, it's all part of the same franchise. It's all got to be interconnected, so it can't be too dissimilar, because if it's they can't suddenly do a massive wild thing, because then they'll lose people, and then what if people think that it's like this wild thing that they didn't like? Oh no, money! Hey Charlie.
Yeah.
What do you double bill this with?
I've been thinking about this, and I think the Crouching Tiger is like the boring answer. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay.
It's got kind of clear influence. I'm gonna go with a movie that I really like called Iron Monkey, directed by Yuen Woo-ping, and it's essentially about a kind of Robin Hood type character, the Iron Monkey, who gets captured, and it's kind of like a passing on story to like the young Iron Monkey, who's like his son. So it's got that kind of father-son thing going on in it. It's a great martial art flick. Some amazing fight scenes. I mean, yeah, just an all-round blast. I mean, check that movie out. I mean, I think it came out like 2002, I think it was.
I have no idea.
Iron Monkey, but I definitely would recommend it.
Yeah.
Have you seen Iron Monkey? No,
I've not
93
seen
it came out.
993. That's
Yes.
a lot earlier than what you just said. I'm
Yes,
gonna
a lot
go
earlier. But it's
with-
fucking sick.
So sick. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. I like it when you say a film sick. 'Cause normally it's actually sick.
I appreciate that.
Sometimes you say it's sick, and then I watch it and go, it was mildly sick. I felt queasy, not sick. God damn it, Charlie. I'm gonna go.
Donnie Yen's in it, by the way, just to clarify.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's very cool. Get a bit of Donnie Yen in there. Yeah. I'm gonna say Rush Hour / Rush Hour 2, because of that main character, side character, dynamic duo relationship, which I feel it's kind of similar to this, where you've got Jackie Chan, Simu as like the punchy, kicky guy, and then you got Awkwafina and Chris Rock. I believe it's Chris Rock.
Yeah. Chris Tucker. Sorry.
Chris Tucker. As that more like comedic relief, but also quite serious. Like, doesn't quite get it. Doesn't understand what's going on. It's good times. I feel like that would work. Would that work? I've not seen Rush Hour in so long. But I feel, it just occurred to me. I was like, hey, I want a Jackie Chan film, because I feel like that would work. Because it's especially like that time period where he was in America, so he had to do American movies, but he wanted to introduce that Asian spice to it all. And they were like, no.
Rush Hour's an interesting one, because it's like, he he didn't get to do the free reign of some of the action that he could do, Jackie Chan, in it. So some of it's like not as cut as well as the stuff he did in Hong Kong and stuff and China. But Shanghai Noon is more. Like
yeah, get some Shanghai Noon,
Yeah.
Shanghai Night. I remember I recommended them before, guys. I hope that
I used to love Rush Hour as a kid. The Rush Hours are so much fun. I watched them recently. I still really enjoy them, but they have kind of dated in terms of their like jokes and stuff. But
okay, ignore Rush Hour. I mean, still
but
good
it's
Rush
but
Hour,
it's
though.
but
It
it's
was
I mean they're good fun.
of its time. But Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Night. I love those. They were great. I had to rewatch those. I think I have the DVD somewhere. It might be. I think I know where it is, and it's not here.
If not, I've got it on DVD. You can borrow it.
Happy days. Right, Charlie, we're done here. Please tell the people where they can find more of us, if they so desire to do so.
They can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, your favourite films off. And they can find us on Twitter @FabFilmsOff. I believe that is everything.
I believe that is everything.
It's everything because
Please.
your favourite films awful apart from Twitter @FabFilms.
Yeah, basically. Send us messages, favourite this video, favourite those messages, comments, give us clues on what you want, even though by the time we give it to you, you won't want it anymore. Because that's how it works. Listener, watcher, I have hope that you've had a splendid day, a splendid week, because we only see each other weekly, so I hope that you've had a great day, unless you're watching all of these at, one after the other, which, hey, well done, thank you. Give us those views, happy days.
Thank you very much.
Hope you've had a good time. Bye-bye. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
What's your favorite film? God, that's awful.
Favorite?
Awful. Awful. Your favorite film? Awful.